Okay, y'all, we back for part 2 of the cruise. Yeah, we calling it the May Day cruise. It's May, it's Friday, it's the May Day cruise, part 2. Yeah, there's a part 1. I just didn't want this video to be overly long, so I just stopped it and started up another one because I'm high-tech like that. I know how to do that kind of stuff. You press stop and start. I'm good like that. Yeah, but we cruising in 99 RT KOTA. If you heard part 1 of this cruise on our way to Elizabeth Park, you know that I bought me a chip. I got a chip. They had 3 chips. You can get one give you 20 horsepower, one give you 40, and one give you 60. So I figured since I can plug something in and get 60 free horsepower, I'm going with the 60. And so I got 60 free horsepower. But I got to drive to get it. There's always a catch. To get my 60 free horsepower, extra horses, right out of the chip, I had to plug it in, wait 10 seconds, turn the key, wait 10 more seconds, and then start it up and drive it. And when I go 50 to 100 miles, that's the catch, it's going to give me my 60 free horsepower, extra horsepower. I was gonna get nitrous, but I'm like, okay, chip, real cheap. Nitrous, chip, real cheap. Nitrous, so I got the chip. I was only gonna get 100-shot nitrous, you know, but I figured if I can get 60 extra horsepower for $100, I'm going for it. So, yeah. No. Yeah, well, that's what they say, but I'm not after horsepower and none of that gas mileage, none of it. I simply want this chip. See, like I was saying in part 1, this thing don't have no converters on it, none. Okay, it's got all 4 O2 sensors hooked up, no converters. So it's constantly showing a rich mixture. Okay? But anyway, I'm just hoping to get the chip straightens that out for me. And I know how this truck drives and rides because I've driven it and ridden it. And I think it's working. Yeah, I think it's working. Okay? Because I know usually when I start it up, it acts like a carburetor. If you're familiar with carburetors that are cold, yeah, it's like a cold startup with a carburetor. And it's not acting like that. It's not doing that. So maybe it grabbed it, choked it out, and said, I'm running things now. Because this is my first fuel injection computer-controlled thingy, you know. Normally I always ran one carburetor, a vacuum, a Holly 750 vacuum secondary, 3310. I ran that carburetor from 96 till I sold it. I sold it with that carburetor on. So this is my first outside of my Ram, which I call Ramicus 15.0. Outside of that, this was the only thing I ever had that was fuel injected and run completely by sensors and a ECU. You know, I had my MSD2 and my Holly fuel system was turn the fuel pump on and there you go. And then I had my own ignition fuel, everything. It was all simple then. But now there's a box under the hood, and it tells the motor what to do and when to do it and how to do it and how much to do it. And if the sensors are hooked up, then you're good. I kind of like that, because carburetor tuning, and if you watch the Old Man Garage, now that man is a master at tuning the carburetor. He is a master, okay? He gonna get it right. And Okay? But if you're not like that, then you, one second. Okay, there we go. If you're not like that, then you know, it's probably not gonna work out for you. Okay? But I love that carburetor because when Ollie came out with the adjust the vacuum secondary springs by switching springs and it open sooner or open later, you could really fine tune that carburetor. But this thing, do you know what I spent money on? And not a lot of money either. Sensors. Every time I wanted to do something to the motor, it turned out I needed to go buy a sensor. You know, not another engine part, but a sensor. And Lord help if you use cheap sensors, they don't work. Okay? They don't work. So I had to learn how to not be cheap with sensors. But outside of that, this thing run well as you ride with me. Okay, this is part 2, so I'll let you see me. Yep, that's me. That's Fasto out here in my Ray-Bans, cruising in the RT KOTA. All right, put you back in your thing. Okay. Well, I see somebody trying to call me, but I'm kind of making a video, so that ain't gonna work. Okay. It is a beautiful day out here in a beautiful day. Sound like Mr. Rogers, right? Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yes, it is. I think I'll run back up there, on 4th Street. Okie dokie. Now, if I had my 440 and we cruised the distance I've cruised now, we'd be in the gas station by now. Or walking. Yeah, we would be in a gas station getting another 12 gallons of gas. And then by the time I get home, if I go out for another cruise, we're going straight to the gas station to get another 12 gallons of gas. That thing sucked up gas. It was so funny. At the drag strip, I never recognized how much gas was, the car was burning. Because, I would go make my 4 time trials. I would try to keep the tank. I had a 16-gallon tank in the Roadrunner, or GTX. I don't know why I keep calling it Roadrunner. I guess because I named it Runner for Christ. Messed me up. But anyway, I would try to keep 8 gallons in there, each gallon weighing, 7 pounds? So you would know exactly how much weight is on the back that you put in the back, that you added to what was already back there. And it would make the car, because you need to know all of that, because if you change any of that, your time is going to change. For instance, if I let the gas get to 3 gallons, well, not a car lighter, okay? I might spin the tires more. I'm definitely gonna go faster because I'm pulling less weight. And if you know what I'm saying, if that's the case, then my time is gonna change. And you don't want that happening. So I want that 8 gallons in there. Okay, when I go up to round 1, I want to see half a tank of gas. So I just have the same weight every single time. So you don't really notice other than, getting ready for round 1, you fill it up to half, but you don't care. But when I started street driving, I never even had a gas needle at the drag strip. But you just look in a fuel cell, you see how much you got. But when I started street driving, I needed the gas needle, so I hooked one up, and I could have sworn it was broke. Because I'm like, all I did was go this far in a quarter tank of gas? Yeah. My man in Ohio, the Old Man Garage, check him out on YouTube. Old Man Garage, SRC Racing or Gen 2. build that thing from a 6-cylinder to a 9-second daily driver. Yes, he drives it daily. 9-second daily driver. And now that's on 2 stages of nitrous, 100 and a 200 shot. But still on motor is a 10-second daily driver. And that thing is sweet. He drove that back from Florida. He went down there for some kind of race and drove it back to the crib, okay, in Ohio, 900 miles. Okay, and hey, I know, he uses that E85 in it, so that made the gas bite a little bit easier, but still. I'm sure he burnt up some gas. Sure he burnt up some gas on that time. Yeah, it's a fun little truck. I really miss the cam sound though. Nothing like a carbureted, car with a cam in it. You really hear it bumping. Fuel injection, it just sounds sort of like it sounds something like that. You know what I'm saying? It don't have that bumpy bump, it's low. But when you put it to the floor, oh yeah, well, you know something's in there then. But I guess, at least you get to use a laptop, do something. But here, I'm just using a chip. It's doing itself. So I'm gonna let you know after 50 miles to 100 if I get my 60 extra horsepower. So I just stumped the gas and that 60 extra horses. On this thing, both on the same side, I really hate tailpipes, but I really hate all that noise under the truck too. I don't know, I might try it, maybe it'll help. It's a nice 2.5-inch system all the way to the axle. I was thinking about adding 2.5 to the 2-in, 2-out muffler, 2 tailpipes to the bumper, and have it just point down. Maybe it'll help with scavenging, because shorty headers don't scavenge at all. And so to get them to give you any kind of horsepower, you need to help them scavenge. And prayerfully that'll help them do that. Street Cruise is coming up. I think, my man got his blown Chevelle out cruising. 4th Street Cruise, the official cruise coming up on, I think, June 6th. Well, it's either the first week of June or the last week. Got a lot of work to do on $500 or a month or more note. We choose to pay no note. And so she got an '04 Blazer that's in really good shape, and we're about to have it painted, get some rocker work done. Ah, there she is right there. Okay, yeah, I just passed her. She just left the park walking. Now I told you she was gonna be headed over to the store. Now she headed down to her favorite hangout, Myers. Yeah, we decided to keep our vehicles because we even back in '94, we decided to get a little house because it was just us, all the mothers of my children, they were awesome and they raised them, okay? And they're all on their own, so it was really just us, okay? So we got a little small house, and we did that on purpose and decided because we were headed out to Brownstown to pay $180,000 for a house, but we decided not to do that and to spend several $1,000s on the house we live in now, and then the money we make, we just keep that and put it into IRA accounts. We had two. We consolidated them into one after retirement. And so and now we've decided to just keep our old vehicles, especially now, because if you go to buy something now, they're going to gank you because they bought these cars during COVID when they could sell them for a real high price. Okay, but COVID is over. And you can't sell them now for that high price because other lots have bought cars after COVID, the same car, and it's at a cheaper price. So they underwater. So they don't want to be underwater. So they selling it to you for a ridiculously high price, then giving you a ridiculously high interest rate, giving you a ridiculously high monthly payment, and then giving you a ridiculous amount of years to pay for it. So we decided to stay out of that game and just keep what we got. Plus, I'm old school. I don't need nothing new, and I don't feel like I'm missing nothing. Okay, my '99 RT KOTA, '97 Dodge Ram, just fine. Her '04 Blazer, just fine. If I had to buy a whole motor for her truck, which it don't need one, we drive that thing to Mackinac, have been for years, it still wouldn't cost us nowhere near the price of a new car. Hell, I could buy a motor in her car for the price of a car note that some people pay. I can get a whole motor from I know a place where they sell remanufactured engines. They take them, rebuild them, put them up for sale. Right? You can get that. I can get that whole motor for less than $2,000. Well, it's a long block. Some of the parts on her motor I had to take off and put on a new one. But that's a brand new motor, right? For less than $2,000. And I know how to take them out and put them in. So I don't have to pay nobody to do that. So, we just decided to keep what we got. And that way you get to keep them, instead of spending all your money on car notes and ridiculously high insurance, okay, we don't. We like keeping money in the bank, and we like funding my wife's IRA. That way if I croak out, she, got something to lean on instead of being in a turmoil because I'm dead. We save, we prepare for that. But, a lot but he also owned a Hellcat. And the Hellcat was $1,500 a month because he had good credit. And with his insurance, I think he was right around $2,800 a month. For $100,000 car that will, out of the factory, run 11s, unless you buy $150,000 one, then you can go 9s. But if you get just a regular Hellcat, I think most of them came out to the track, they ran 11s. Well, I bought my KOTA for $2,000. I already had my 440, and I put it in myself and took it out to the track on my trailer, pulling it with my truck, and I went 1185. $2,000. And now you telling me I should go buy a car for $100,000+ so I can run 11s? But here's the thing about that. See, that guy could drive home after the racing. He could get in the car and drive home. There wasn't no way in the world I was gonna get in that KOTA and drive home. That just wasn't gonna happen. that was, all the glass, there's not no glass in it. All the windows were Lexan. All of them plastic. So, the hood was fiberglass, the truck was fiberglass, the whole front end was fiberglass. You can lift it right off. So no, it was different. It was real different. Yeah. So no, we decided to just go to, live within your means. And the Lord was able to bless us beyond our means, because we live within our means. I used to hear people at work when I worked at this other job before we started our own business. He couldn't take a vacation. He would say, we're not going to be able to take a vacation this year, because he had bought this nice house out in Canton, Michigan. And he was the guy who trained me in agronomics. Licensed pesticide applicator. I became that for 25 years. But he couldn't, we were going on, at that time, 2 vacations a year, but he couldn't do that. Because he bought, like I told you, one of them houses. There was the new subdivisions. There was the 180 and up. That was the sign out, 180 and up. And so he bought one, and then he had to pay that big old giant note. We didn't have that. So we could go to Mackinac twice a year. And not just Mackinac. When our church decided they was going to Louisiana, then we went to Louisiana. We went and rented us a nice little red Mustang, and we rented a van for Louisiana, but we would go other places. But the point is, we had the money to do that because we didn't, spend it all up on expensive stuff. Like expensive cars, a big old giant house. And now both of us, we're 70, and so we're super glad we don't have no big old house, because I just cut the grass this morning. Let me tell you something. I'm glad that lawn ain't bigger than it is. Yeah. So maybe that'll be a little advice for you. When you think about what you're gonna do in life and how do you want to live in life, live beneath your means. That way you can save lots of money and do lots of things that it takes lots of money to do. Other than that, you're going to be caught up doing a bunch of things without a bunch of money, and then you're going to get a bunch of debt. If you have to use credit cards to go on a vacation, okay, and that's not money from saved money, then you're going into debt. Yeah, you're on your way into Debtville. but you might never leave. So you don't want to get into Deadville. You don't want to welcome to the Hotel Deadville. You don't want to go there. No. You want money for you. Not money for them. You want money for you. And how much fun is it to go in debt to do something? Because as soon as it's done, and you're in debt and can't pay it because you done spent above your means, how much fun is that? Talk to our city and see if we can't do that, you know, cruise and e-course. Yeah, get us a cruise going down, maybe involve Rouge and e-course, because we have John Dingle Park, and they have a big giant park, so it'll be plenty of places for you to stop and, you know, sit. And then you can cruise Jefferson. Might be big for the city. Put vendors all out on the street, selling this and selling that. Might bring in some revenues. Yeah, I might mention that to the city. See if they want to do that. What they should do is drill little holes at the bottom of the inside door seams, so when it rains, that water can't well up in those seams and rust them out, because that's what causes that. If you ever look at the bottom of your door, your rocker panels, and wonder why they rust out, it's because water gets into the fold. When water gets into that fold under there, well, it's a wrap. It's going to sit there and just rust it out. So if you go inside the door and drill a hole so that water can get out, and do that same thing to your rockers, then you won't have that problem. You know. Oh, well, we're going to jump off here because I'm just about up out of here. Hey, hope you had fun and riding around in the RT KOTA like I did, so we can go ahead and get these 50 to 100 miles and get our free horsepower. We got free horsepower coming, y'all. Okay. My God. I don't know why everybody I get behind just lose their mind and sit to like, God bless you, God keep you. We'll see you when we see you.